Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers keys to victory in Week 1 versus the Saints. Now, first thing I do want to say is shout out to my good friend Nos here on YouTube. He is a Saints YouTuber, and he partially inspired me to make this video. If you guys want to go see his perspective, I'm sure he will leave a comment down in the comment section below. Nos, if you're watching this, go ahead and leave a comment down so where people can see your perspective, the Saints fan perspective, versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and how the Saints can win this upcoming game versus the Bucs. But let's get started talking about some of the ways the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can win this game if they do execute on these keys to victory. The first key being protect Tom Brady. I'm looking at you, offensive line. You need to protect this man at all costs. The greatest quarterback of all time? Yeah, maybe you should protect him. I'm looking at Tristan Works, I'm looking at Donovan Smith, Ali Marpet, Ryan Jensen, and Alex Kappa. You guys gotta protect this man. Now, Tom Brady does make the job a little bit easier on his offensive line because he does get the ball out relatively quickly from his hands, but they still need to hold up in pass protection and in run protection as well. Run blocking for this offensive line is something that has struggled a lot in the past couple of years, and there's no new starters on this offensive line minus Tristan Works. Donovan Smith's coming back, Ali Marpet's coming back, Ryan Jensen's coming back, and Alex Kappa is coming back as well. Tristan Works is the newest addition to this offensive line, and I know he's a 13th overall pick, and that is a big deal, but he's going up against Cameron Jordan in his first ever NFL game with very limited time to fully get ready. So I'm definitely keeping a microscope on Tristan Works. The reports out of training camp is that Tristan Works has looked pretty decent coming along as well as the coaching staff has expected him to come along, and apparently Donovan Smith has looked the most consistent he has ever looked in his entire NFL career. Both these guys are going to be going up against Cameron Jordan, like I said, and also Marcus Davenport, who got a little bit of the better of Donovan Smith last year when they played, where he had, I believe, 4 quarterback hits and 2 sacks in 2 games versus Donovan Smith. So I'm specifically looking at the tackles positions. They've got to protect Tom Brady with their lives. But moving on to the second point here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've got to slow down Drew Brees and they've got to slow down Michael Thomas as much as humanly possible. When I think about the New Orleans Saints, the first 2 players I think about are number 1, Drew Brees, number 2, Michael Thomas, and then, very shortly, third down there is Alvin Kamara. But Drew Brees and Michael Thomas, those are the guys. The New Orleans Saints have tried to help them a lot this offseason by re-signing a lot of the offensive line, bringing in Ty Montgomery, who can play both running back and wide receiver out of the backfield, bringing in Emmanuel Sanders, which is one of the better second wide receivers in the NFL, not really compared to Chris Godwin, but the point I'm trying to make is that the Saints have spent a lot of time this offseason getting help for Drew Brees and getting help for Michael Thomas just to continue to bolster this offense. Now, Michael Thomas broke a couple of receiving records last year. Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. You can't stop those guys. You can only hope to slow them down. So that's what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have to do. I'm looking specifically at the pass rush, at the inside linebackers, just as the defense as a whole. I'm looking at that young secondary. They've got to hold up in coverage. They've got to put pressure on Drew Brees with the pass rush. It's just what has to happen. So you can't stop those guys. You've just got to slow them down. Key number 3 to victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is to utilize their tight ends and their running backs as well. O.J. Howard, Rob Gronkowski, those guys I expect to get a lot of work in this game, considering, one, how Tom Brady likes to throw to his tight ends a lot, especially Rob Gronkowski, and O.J. Howard is basically the second coming of Rob Gronkowski. So, I feel like both those guys are going to be getting a lot of targets in this upcoming game. Now, when I look at the New Orleans Saints defense, I'm looking at Malcolm Jenkins, I'm looking at Marcus Williams at the safety position, Demario Davis is a linebacker. He's one of the best coverage linebackers in the entire NFL. Alex Anzalone at middle linebacker, he's good when he's healthy, but he has had injury problems in the past. I think that just overall the sheer size and ability of both O.J. Howard and hopefully a fully healthy Rob Gronkowski can beat a lot of those guys one-on-one and just overall in coverage. I think that, Tom Brady's going to be throwing to both these guys a lot, and I feel like if there's any kind of chink or weakness in the Saints' armor, it's going to be the fact that their linebackers linebacking core is a little bit weaker against possibly tight ends. They have Zach Bond, the rookie, there as well, but in terms of overall really good coverage, guys, I only think that Demario Davis could handle either OJ Howard or Rob Gronkowski, and if, it's Demario Davis on one of those guys, then the other one is going to run wild. So that is what that is for the tight end position. On the running back room, obviously Leonard Fournette is going to have some type of role in this upcoming game. Bruce Arians said as much. He is learning the game plan. That's going to be very interesting to see him with a lot of power, a lot of receiving ability, and just overall a very well-rounded running back. I'm more interested in seeing how Ronald Jones is going to do. He is going to still be the starting running back for this team to start off this week 1 game. How's he going to do with his agility? He added a little bit more power. He added a little bit more receiving to his game overall. So I'm curious to see how this new and improved Ronald Jones looks, especially with Tom Brady at the helm. Tom Brady, much like the tight end room, likes to throw to his running backs a lot as well. So I expect LaShawn McCoy, Leonard Fournette, and Ronald Jones to all have big roles in this upcoming game. I expect them all to catch a couple of passes each. And much like what I said just about the tight end position, I think that the linebacking core for the Saints is a little bit of their weakness there. Maybe their safeties as well. I know Malcolm Jenkins is a very strong starting safety, but he is up there in age. And then Marcus Williams is a good safety as well, but there's just so many weapons in the tight end and running back rooms. It might be a little bit too much for those guys to handle. So I think the Buccaneers can find some level of success with their running back and tight end groups. The fourth point I want to make here in terms of the Buccaneers' key to victory is pretty simple. Make your kicks. Ryan Succop is the new kicker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Matt Gay is now gone. Cairo Santos is gone from last year. All the kickers are gone. It's Ryan Succop's time to shine. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have Greg Joseph on the practice squad. Just keep that one in mind for potentially later. Ryan Succop needs to make his kicks. He needs to. He 100% needs to. We can't afford to miss field goals, especially against the Saints, because that team knows how to score points. So it is honestly a bad thing to settle for a field goal against a team like the Saints. But if you have to settle for a field goal, don't miss. And I know that could be said for any game, but you really can't afford to leave points on the table versus the Saints. So Ryan Succop, if there's a chance for you to make that kick, bro, you got to make that kick. I don't care if it's from 45 yards, 50 yards. I would say his range is probably 50 to 55 yards super max, but he's got to be basically automatic from 45 yards and under. No exceptions, okay? That just is what it is whenever you play against the Saints. So Ryan Succop, make your kicks, bro. I believe in you. The final point for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game versus the Saints is you've got to put pressure on early. Part of that is making your kicks. Part of that is literally putting pressure on Drew Brees, the quarterback. Both Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaq Barrett have not had a sack versus the Saints since they joined the team. Now, I know Shaq Barrett's only been with the team 1 year. Jason Pierre-Paul has only been with the team 2 years. Jason Pierre-Paul has only played in 3 games versus the Saints to Shaq Barrett's 2, but you still need to put pressure on Drew Brees. I know that is very difficult considering Drew Brees, much like Tom Brady, gets the ball out of his hands very quickly, but you've got to try. I'm looking at Vita Vea. I'm looking at Ndamukong Suh. They've got to provide pressure as well. Levante David, Devin White, heck, just send everybody. Send everybody because you have to put pressure on Drew Brees. Another way in what I mean by saying putting pressure on the Saints, you've got to score early and you've got to score often. You can't really afford to have any 3 and outs. You can't afford to settle for field goals. You've got to score touchdowns, and you've got to score touchdowns consistently. Now, if there's anybody I really trust in the world to score touchdowns, it's Tom Brady and this offense. So we need them to be on their A game. It's going to be Tom Brady's first time playing with the Buccaneers. It's going to be Rob Gronkowski's first time playing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've got to be on their A game, and they've got to put the pressure on early. And like I said, if there's anybody I could trust in the world to do that, it's Tom Brady and the rest of these guys here. But yeah, guys, overall, that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' keys to victory versus the Saints. That's what I personally feel are 5 of the most important things for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to do to give them the best chance of beating the Saints. This could very easily turn into a blowout. I don't want it to because those are very stressful, but yeah, it's 2 of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, Tom Brady being the greatest, Drew Brees honestly being top 5. This could very easily be a shootout, I guess I should say, and you can't afford that to be a shootout. I'd rather just have a comfortable victory, if I'm being honest, wouldn't we all? But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what other ways you feel the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can utilize things and capitalize on things to win versus the Saints. And let me know your thoughts about my points down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.